computer models, they are a tool. They are a vehicle for us to evaluate projects. In and themselves, they are not the ultimate goal, but rather they help us to make better decisions. I'm Ehab Meselhe. I'm a civil and environmental engineer with a focus on water resources, currently a faculty at the Department of River Coastal Science and Engineering at Tulane University at the School of Science and Engineering. So I spend my entire career developing and applying computer models to a variety of engineering applications. The way I view computer models is they are an engineering tool that provide us with quantitative insights about the projects that we are trying to implement. They are very visual, so they are an excellent communication tools between disciplines and between engineers and researchers and decision makers. The way we educate the new generations of engineers and scientists who are planning to work in the area of water in the broader sense. It is important to emphasize more than just the technical details. It is important for them to receive the technical competencies and implement that in their work after graduation, but it's important for them to realize the other disciplines that are interacting with engineers. It's important for them to work with environmentalists. It's important for them to work with economists, social scientists, because engineering projects now have broader implications on society that goes beyond the engineering discipline itself. In order for us to actually help communities to become more resilient in the face of natural hazards, rainfall events, hurricane events, we do need to actually have a set of projects that can help the community to be more resilient in facing these natural disasters. It comes and it starts with policies through the ordinance that cities and towns and communities implement. Models play an important role to actually help the decision makers to actually write down or implement these better ordinance. So models have the ability to provide us what the short-term performance of a particular project or suite of projects. Are they going to be meeting these objectives in the next season and in the next year? But they also have the ability to tell us and give us some information about how will they perform 10 years from now, 5 decades from now. And that longevity is important so that we can make the proper investments, or at least to plan ahead that the performance will decline perhaps after a certain period of time, and maybe we can develop some ideas how can we actually enhance or beef up that performance down the line, because we know that it's going to decline down the road at some point. You can see that the role of the models is very critical so that you can actually implement. Number one, we can improve the way we plan for projects so that we can look at cumulative impacts over time. Sometimes when you evaluate individual projects, every individual project might be okay, but collectively they may not be good for the community at large, because they may be taking away space from the floodplains. They may be inducing flooding as a collective set of projects. Oftentimes, the projects that we implement have ramifications on people who live downstream of us and people who live upstream of us. And that's why it's very important to actually have collaborative relationships with other jurisdictions that are neighboring to ourselves, whether they are to the east or west or upstream or downstream from us. Sometimes the solution to our problem may actually exist outside of our boundaries. So it is important to actually have that collaborative spirit, because together or jointly we can implement more effective projects that can be for the overall good. It can actually help the entire region. Sometimes the solutions that we will come up with require a level of compromise. It is not easy or possible to always find solutions that are silver bullets and meet all the objectives across the board. So that's where it becomes very important to understand what is the compromise that we are pursuing. And is that compromise going to be acceptable to the community? Is that going to be acceptable to because they are the most important people. That's the community themselves. They have to live with the ramifications of projects, not the engineers who are designing them, not the construction companies that build a project, but the community.